Greetings! In today's video, I have for you the second showcase of the products of Rigel Dynamics. So without further ado, let's go. The first creation is the snowcrab. He has one eye that lights up very bright in case of necessity, and he is a little cargo transport. His name is Jerry. He is very happy. And, well, let's show you what he can do. First thing he can do is he has a little boost. The second thing is he can fly, because of course he can, if he has to get to harder to reach areas to pick up harder to reach cargo. Once you've gotten to the cargo containers, all you have to do is put your arms out like this. He can extend his forearms so that the magnets don't interfere with his sensors. Then he will magnetize. He will pull the container closer to him, therefore lifting it up. And it can lift over his head so that he has more control of the weight of the container. And then it can be transported to any place, position, put into a cargo ship, whatever is needed of Jerry. And he will deposit his container there. He will stare at it with his one big eye, and he will marvel at the glorious job that he's done. I used Jerry in one of my recent videos to load every single cargo container on the map onto a single ship with some of my friends, and it was a blast. It was enormous amounts of fun. The second creation is also a cargo-oriented build. This is the remora. If you center it on a container, you can magnetize to it, and you can lift it, and you can do all of the things that you need to do. It has hover pad assistance if what you're carrying is far heavier than yourself, although it doesn't really need it for these containers. And, well, it goes up and down, it can deposit the container, and other than that, it's pretty simple. It's not a very complicated build at all. It has inside a very big spotlight, just like Jerry, the snow crab, and a gun. All piston glitched to the inside in ways that your mind could barely imagine. The third build, it is the Rigel hippo. And I named it that because it looks like a hippo. And I really like the shape on it. It's meant to be some cargo transport ship, a little drop ship that can go up to the outer edges of the atmosphere and load its belly full of cargo from some transport ship up there, and then just ferry it down and then ferry stuff back up, and so on and so forth. It's not meant to be very agile, it's just meant to do its job and look awesome. That's its job. Its job is to look awesome, which I think it does. It can fold its wings up, which are completely non-functional. They're just there to look cool. And I believe it also has the giant spotlight, because I do actually think the spotlight is one of the best parts of the space update. The fact that they made a mini sun that you can just put on your creations is amazing. I really enjoy that. This is the first combat build for today. It is the Rigel Barracuda. It's a fighter. I guess you could call it a fighter. It's a space fighter. It's incredibly quick. I've gotten so much better since the Koiga at making hover pad based, super agile, super maneuverable fighters. Yes, I've come a long way in my journey. It's got 3 UFO engines in it. It reaches Mach 1 extremely quickly. You blink and you miss it. It goes pretty much in a straight line wherever you point it, and then if you need to turn, it can do that pretty quickly as well. It has 6 cannons, 6 blasters rather, inside. The 2 pods on the side of the cockpit. And other than that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have too many extra features. It's just meant to be as annoyingly fast as possible and absolutely shred through anything that it sees. It's basically the sea lion's little brother, without the large amount of rocket pods to take out larger vessels more efficiently, which the sea lion's job is. This one is more against smaller things that have less armor and can be absolutely shredded by the guns. Of course, it has a double shield, and well, other than that, yeah, pretty effective. This is the Rigel tigershark. It's a build that's actually inspired by a different Trailmakers creator. You can find him on YouTube. The channel's name is Crawl's Workshop, and I was watching him build his battleships and how he was improving on them, making better designs as he went. And I decided I wanted to try my hand at making a very aggressive destroyer. So yeah, it's definitely a channel that I would recommend. There's a lot of fun videos on there, and you should go check them out. The features of this destroyer are, well, obviously the 8 blasters at the top, the many guns that can be aimed in different directions as well, based on who I'm fighting against. Because, well, having a top speed of 190 kilometers an hour-ish and being very chonky, this thing is not very maneuverable. Therefore, I opted for orienting the guns at the enemy rather than having to turn the ship, which is a very helpful feature, especially when I'm fighting against people in smaller, faster craft. Other than that, if anybody happens to find themselves in the unfortunate position that is right in front, in the maw of the tigershark, they will be met with 6 rocket launchers. And for anybody who's shooting at the tigershark, aside from the fact that it's extremely durable and difficult to have it fall out of the sky on its own, it also has 8 total shield generators that make it extremely durable and just a pain in the ass to compete against whenever anybody is dogfighting me. Well, dogfighting me with air quotes applied liberally, but yes, most of the time I will have at least 1 shield up on this thing, because there's just so many to cycle through. The guns are absolutely deadly for anybody that gets even close. The main weakness is it's not very maneuverable and it's not very fast, but its main purpose is to just lock down a position, sit on top of, for example, the carrier, and say, anybody who gets close here will face my wrath and be absolutely completely shredded by the time they're done. And again, I wouldn't have been able to make such a competent destroyer without having watched the videos on Crawl's Workshop and learned from the many nuances that I saw in those encounters, in those combat situations. Now, this is not the last build of the video. This is an old build. Well, old, not very old. This is the Orca. I've shown this before. It is the Regal Dynamics Pinnacle Exploration Ship. Or rather, it was. Because it has been surpassed. I have a new capital ship. The Orca is obviously still extremely competent, very slow and lumbering in many situations. However, that's not its purpose. Its purpose is long distance exploration and travel, so that we may reach new heights, new galaxies, new stars, and learn the expansive nature of the universe, discover new things. That's the point of the Orca, is that it takes us to the stars, quite literally. It takes us to the constellations that we see in the sky. And the orca is very happy to introduce its kick-ass little brother, which is honestly not very little, and that is the narwhal. The narwhal is, well, larger than the orca, faster than the orca, and slightly less maneuverable than the orca. It's not better, because it's, you know, just so much bigger and heavier and everything. But yeah, the narwhal is a ship I'm extremely proud of. It's called the narwhal because the narwhal is a whale with a giant sword at the front of its nose, and this thing is shaped like a sword. And I really enjoyed the play on the names. Also, this glow, the beige glow on the thrusters, it's very happy. I'm very happy that I was just clicking through, wondering what color I should use, and I clicked through colors that I never even thought of before for thruster coloring, and I'm so glad that I did. There's not much else to say about the narwhal other than just marveling at its sheer size and speed and not very agility at all. I enjoy how I placed the reverse thrusters. It's entirely hover pad based for its lift and maneuverability because I didn't want to quote unquote waste any complexity trying to put in lift thrusters and stuff when hover pads can do the job with less power cores and less waste of complexity. Other than that, yeah. This is the new Rigel flagship. I imagine in the future I will have a cinematic where one of these and probably 2 orcas can take to the stars in the space sector and go exploring, find new places, go and discover new things. A science expedition, basically. It's just a marvel. I'm extremely happy with it. And there you go. That has been a showcase of the second wave of Rigel Dynamic products. I hope you liked them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the future.